Boys, it's early. All right. I woke up on a Saturday morning to make this video. I'm ready. I'm up because I'm gonna watch the FA Cup. Currently, Crystal Palace is on right now. Crystal Palace is my team with my boy Nick. He kind of got me on this train of rooting for the underdog. I know I'm wearing a Chelsea jersey right now. I'll get into that in a sec. But if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, I was going to stream this video. So this video is not going to be like your standard production. Hey, how are you? You know, kind of video. I want this to be more kind of like stream like, and I do eventually want to stream these on my YouTube, on this YouTube channel. But what's going on, guys? It is Jack Duffy from Happy Hour Sports Network. I hope you guys are having a great morning. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend with the NFL games this weekend. Last night and the night before, we had some great college football games. Miami's looking good though, man. But Indiana belt the ass last night to Oregon. Jesus Christ, 55 points. God damn, Mendoza's something, dude. That kid's gonna be something in the NFL, bro. I'm so excited. I hope he doesn't go to the Jets. I hope he goes to the Raiders, because like if he goes to the Raiders, I think with him, with Genty, like that, and Bowers, oh, that offense could be cooking. I'm excited to see what he does. I hope Indiana gets the perfect season. I really do. But I do like the Miami at home for the college playoff national championship. Like that's kind of a dope story too. So we've had a great like last 2 days of sports, man, and the Flyers are starting to cook a little bit. I mean, they did lose to Toronto the other night, but it's fine. It's fine. So we're going to get into our pick'ems this morning. We got our NFL wildcard weekend pick for myself, yours truly, Jack Duffy. So let's get into it. Let's pick these teams. So first things first, I did mention briefly about the English Premier League. I am starting to fall back in love with the game of soccer. I grew up playing soccer. That was my sport. I played soccer from like the age of 10 to 18, 19 years old. I played all the way through club ball and almost into college. I was actually going to college to play soccer, and I got burnt out. I had some injury things that were happening. Nothing serious. I just was burnt out on the game. I didn't love it anymore. I wasn't passionate. And when you go into playing in a college level, you have to be passionate about it. It's basically your job at that point. So I just didn't have it anymore. Fell out of love with the game, falling back in love with the game. I'm watching more. This jersey actually is from, I think, like early high school, and it still fucking fits me. I must have gotten like a bigger jersey size. I don't know. But it still fucking fits me. I still have a cough, so bear with me, guys. I had the flu last week. All right, bear with me. If you guys want to see more content talking about the English Premier League, I'm really like invested in it right now. Chelsea's my main team, but Crystal Palace is like my underdog rooting for team. So I have two teams in the English Premier League that I'm rooting for, but Chelsea's my main guy. I was a fan of Chelsea when I was younger. I'm a fan of Chelsea now. So they play at 3, I think, today in the FA Cup. So I think they play Charlton. So we'll see. So if you guys want that, leave a comment down below. If you guys are interested in the English Premier League, I would love to do more content around that. If it's not on this channel, it'll maybe be on my personal channel, Overtime with Captain Jack. So check that out in the description below. So let's get into our NFL wildcard weekend. And it's also an exciting weekend for me too, because I am a diehard Eagles fan. I grew up in the Philly area. I've been a huge Eagles fan since I was born. It's a big weekend, man. But it's not only just the Eagles game for me. It's all of these games. There's a lot of really banger games this weekend in the playoffs for the NFL. So let's get into it. Let's start out with today's game. 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. We got the Rams at the Panthers. So this is, I guess, the revenge game for Matthew Stafford, right? You know, they got a little shell-shocked when they played Carolina in the regular season. I was shocked. I mean, I think everybody was shocked, because I remember vividly I had a bet in with like money line, just doing every game. Just it was like a fucking $2 bet. I didn't really care if it hit or not. It would have been really cool if it hit, but it's $2. So, and I remember vividly looking, and the only game that I didn't hit that week was this specific game, the Rams in Carolina. And I think a lot of people lost money on that one, because you had Devontae Adams cooking at that point in the season. Puka Nacua always was cooking. And their offense was firing on all cylinders. Matthew Stafford was the sure bet for MVP at that point in the season. And they lost. I mean, Matthew Stafford, I think, had 2 interceptions in the first half. Like, they did not look great. But I think this is a revenge game. I think Matthew Stafford and the boys get a huge win, and they move on in the playoffs. So I got the Rams in Carolina. I got the Rams beating them by, let's say, I got 4 points. I don't know what the spread is on these. Let me look up the spreads. So the spread for this game is actually 10.5 points, which is a lot, I think, for this game, for a playoff game. I don't like that. I personally, if you're taking spreads for this week, I would definitely go Carolina spread. I think they'll cover. But I do have the Rams winning by, I don't know, maybe four points. Let's get into the 8 p.m. game for today. Green Bay at Chicago. This is an interesting one because, again, this is kind of a revenge game for both teams because I'm pretty positive I saw something online and I think this is accurate. Green Bay's last win was against Chicago. Chicago's last win is against Green Bay. That's crazy. Like, for them to meet then again in the playoffs, like first round, that is a wild thing to have happen. The spread I think is like 1.5 for this game. Yeah, it's 1.5. So I personally, this is a toss up kind of game. Jordan Love's back. I think Josh Jacobs is playing. I think Watson's playing. I think the offense injuries, other than obviously Tucker Kraft, but most of the offense for Green Bay is back, and Chicago did not look great against Detroit. So I don't know, man. This is a toss up kind of game. If I was a betting man, I think I'm taking. I mean, Green Bay's favored right now on the money line. They're favored currently at -130, which is not crazy favored, but like it's I mean, still for Green Bay to be favored at Chicago when Chicago's a 2 seed and Chicago just beat them recently. I think Chicago pulls this one out, dude. I really do. I think Chicago moves on. I think it's going to be a very close game, though. I like the spread. I think that's an accurate spread. It could be like kind of one of those games where it comes down to a field goal or a missed extra point or something like that that decides this game. I'm going Chicago, though. I think Chicago does pull it out. I think Ben Johnson gets the boys rallied. I think they lock in. I think Chicago gets the win. All right, moving to Sunday. So the 1 o'clock game. This is another big game. This is a really, really good game, and I'm excited to watch this game. Buffalo at Jacksonville. The spread for this one is also 1.5. I think like this is going to be a kind of slugfest, I think. Jacksonville's offense is firing on all cylinders. Liam Cohen has Trevor Lawrence locked in, and ETN's playing at a high level. Their tight ends are playing at a high level. Their offensive line's playing at a high level, but their defense is a monster. And Josh Allen hasn't looked great of late. So, and who is he throwing the ball to? That's the other big thing with Buffalo is like who is he throwing the ball to? Obviously, James Cook is going to do what he does, but it's going to be a close game. I think that I got Jacksonville winning this one. I think Jacksonville at home is going to be a tough bill for Buffalo Bills. I didn't mean to even do that, but I think I think Josh Allen's going to make it a game. I don't think it's going to be like, oh my God, Jacksonville's going to just steamroll them, but I do think that Jacksonville does pull this out in the end. I like Jacksonville to win this game. If you're betting spreads, I would say maybe Buffalo to cover, but that's a lot because again, this is kind of one of those games that could come down to a field goal with a spread at mine or at 1.5. I mean, it could be a field goal kind of game where they win by 2, they win by 3. Like it could come down to that kind of a situation in this kind of tight, close teams, right? Very similar teams. I like Jacksonville though. The 4:30 game, the game that I care the most about, obviously, as an Eagles fan. San Francisco coming to Philadelphia. Philadelphia, the weather's supposed to be pretty nice. So for San Francisco, that's a benefit, obviously, because a California team coming to an East Coast team, a Northeast Coast team, you never know in January what the weather's going to be. It could be snowing, it could be raining and really, really cold. It could be very nice where I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like 40 degrees on Sunday. So I don't think there's going to be rain. I don't think there's going to be snow or anything like that. So it's going to be a pretty clean weather game. And I don't think the winds are very high either. So that the weather element when a California team comes to the East Coast, Northeast Coast, right? It's a toss-up, right? Like it could really affect you, or it could be one of these situations where the weather's kind of okay and ideal. So that's kind of a good thing for the 49ers. But I just watched Seattle run all over the 49ers defense, and their offense couldn't get anything going against a very, very good defense in Seattle. Now, do I think the Eagles have a better defense than Seattle? Absolutely not. Seattle's defense is locked in. They are really, really good this year. I personally think they are the best defense in the league. I know the Texans are really praised to be the best defense in the league. Of late, though, they haven't looked perfect as they have in the past few weeks before the last 2 weeks, I think. So I would take Seattle's defense over the Texans, but the Eagles have a very stout defense as well. Vic Fangio has everybody locked in. Cooper DeJean obviously is locked in. Quinion Mitchell, Reed Blankenship, all those guys are back. Lane Johnson is back on the offensive side of the ball, which is huge for the Eagles offensive line. I think it's going to be a close game. What's the spread on this one? The spread is 6 points. They have the Eagles favored at 6. I don't like that personally as an Eagles fan. I think that's a little too high. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be like a 3-4 point game at the end. But I do have the Eagles winning this one in a very, very close kind of slugfest. I think it's not going to be a very high scoring game because obviously our defense is so good that I think we're going to hold the 49ers. If we can contain McCaffrey, like that's going to be huge for us. But I personally think that it's going to be a very low scoring game. And I do think the Eagles do at the end get the win. All right, and then the late night game on Sunday, we have the Chargers going to New England. Again, a California Dome team going to the Northeast Coast, right? This is, again, one of those situations where the weather could play a factor, more so than the San Francisco Eagles game, because San Francisco plays outside anyway. That takes a little bit out of that because they already are used to playing outdoors, whereas the Chargers are used to playing inside in California, right? If they come to New England outside in the cold, I don't know I think there might be a little snow that happens within this game, especially a later night game. It could be a little more chilly. I think that's going to affect the Chargers a lot. I do. I think the New England Patriots win. The spread for this is 3.5. I like that. I think that if you're taking the spread, I would take the Patriots, truthfully, to cover. I don't think the Chargers are going to win this game. I really don't. I think the Patriots win this one by like a touchdown. I really do. I think the Patriots win I think the Patriots win, but like it's not going to be one of those, like, I don't think any of these games are going to be blowouts. I really don't. I don't think any of these teams could win the Super Bowl, in my personal opinion. They could make a run. They made it this far for a reason. I think maybe Carolina is the only one that you could argue maybe not. But everybody else, these games, they're going to be toss-up kind of games. It's playoff football. It's cold weather football. I like New England at home. I think they win by a touchdown. So getting to the last game of the week, we got the Monday night game, the Houston Texans, my boy Rick's team, and this Pittsburgh Steelers. So Pittsburgh, obviously a huge win against the Ravens. Now, was it a huge win? Was it more the Ravens losing that game with a missed field goal? I personally think so. I don't like where the Steelers are at. Obviously, DK Metcalf is coming back for this game, so that's a huge plus to their offense with Aaron Rodgers. I like, obviously, Kenneth Gainwell as a former Eagle. I've always said that he is one of the better kind of backup running backs, and he's obviously proven that this year. So I like where the Steelers' offense is. Their defense is something that is concerning to me. I don't like how they just kind of give up bigger plays, and it just seems to be the center of the field is wide open. And I think if CJ Stroud can play well enough and that defense can play like they usually do, which is stout, we're not allowing anybody to run the football, we're not allowing these deep throws. If they're able to do that, I think the Texans win. However, if Aaron Rodgers does start cooking, because he has looked good the last 2 weeks, if that happens, if Aaron Rodgers can find that youth again, I don't know if the Texans can keep up offensively. That's my biggest concern with the Texans, is their offense is not nearly as good as their defense is. And that's concerning. If you can't score points in the playoff games, then the other team just gets 1 or 2 touchdowns or even field goals, and your offense can't move the ball. That's concerning. But I do think that if the Texans do lock up on defense, I think CJ Stroud gets enough plays. I think the Texans win this game. I think the spread is, let me look. The spread is 3 points, so I actually like that. I think that's a pretty decent spread. Like I said, none of these games are going to be blowouts, so I personally think that if the Texans can lock up on defense and play like they normally play, I think the Texans win by, I think a field goal or a touchdown. So I got the Texans. So my teams for the week, my picks, I got the Texans winning, I got the Patriots winning, I got the Eagles winning, I got Jacksonville winning, I got Chicago winning, and I got the Rams winning. So those are my picks for the week. Let me know if you guys agree, disagree, any comments down below. Let me also know about the soccer stuff with the English Premier League. I'm really into it. I'm really invested in it. I love soccer. I grew up on that, but I also love all sports. I love everything about sports. That's why I made this channel. This is a hobby channel. This is something that I wanted to do with my friends, and we have so much planned. I cannot wait to bring it to you guys. I'm super excited for the future. Happy 2026. Let's get into playoff football, baby. Finally, let's go. Also, leave your picks for the college national championship. Who you got, Miami or Indiana? I got Indiana. I think they complete the perfect season. I can't bet against Mendoza, dude. Like, I just can't. He is a stud. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really does help us out. And I will see you guys in the next one. Enjoy your weekend, boys.